Hey, good morning everybody. 7:52 a.m. on this Wednesday. Yeah, I know it's early, I guess, to a lot of you for me to be talking about this, but I recently found this out last night. Yeah, it's hard to believe. Or yesterday. Michael Bay. Yeah, go ahead and let your boos come out right now if you want to, or let your cheers come out. But Michael Bay, who was the producer on all three Transformer films, who has done, I believe, Armageddon. Right? He did Armageddon. He has done some other movies as well. Some have been good, some have not been good. But lately he's been diving in to the revamping or returning of some of our beloved childhood franchises as when we were kids in the 80s, and finally helping to bring them to the big screen. Well, bravo, bravo. Now, before anybody says anything, I'm going to make something perfectly clear. Because I am a die-hard Transformer fan, I really didn't have nothing against the movies. To be honest with you, I didn't. Because essentially, they all followed a similar situation. But here's why some people are pissed off. But let me address something about why people are pissed off about those films. One, some people don't understand that there's different variations of how the Transformers came to Earth, who they brought with them, Decepticon and Autobot-wise, who they befriended, the human aspects stay true, and how things came to be. There are different variations out there. And in my honest opinion, I think the variation that Michael Bay's has taken his inspiration from have been the comics that have been released recently over the past 4 to 5, 7 years or whatever by IDW. IDW, of course, an independent, and then one of the major independents out there of comic book publishers, has been doing a lot of comic book versions, been doing some pre-Earth and post-Earth, or pre-Earth and post-Cybertron related stories. I own some of them, matter of fact, I actually do, and I think they're pretty good. I mean, I own War Within, and a few others, and I thought they're pretty good. And I believe that's where he's getting his inspiration from. Now, a lot of people will probably agree with that yeah, that's true, that might be where he's getting it from, and there are, like I said, there are different variations of how the Transformer War came to Earth. So we can't really argue. Well, we can argue if you want to. I can't really say that because it doesn't make sense. That doesn't really make sense, you know. But we can't really sit there and say that he's fucked up Transformers, because honestly, he's just taking one variation and going with it. Yeah, did we like what he did to Transform? Yeah, I mean, I admit, there are some people that are not happy what he did with the second film. They're not happy that Devastator, who was mostly known as a robot that was merged together by Constructicons, they didn't like the fact that it just resembled a big gorilla now. They didn't like that. But you know what? With that exception, you gotta admit he did kind of make up for it with Dark of the Moon. He did make up for it. Yes, they're gonna have a hiccup every now and then if you're doing a trilogy or a quadruple or a foursome or four-way or a five-way or a six-pack of movies based in a franchise. You're gonna have some hiccups. I mean, take a look at X-Men. X-Men, all movies were good. People might have a few exceptions, but maybe X2, and maybe Last Stand, and maybe even Wolverine, the spin-off in the franchise. But you know what? They were all good enough. People still enjoyed them. You know, the same can be said with the Spider-Man movies. Everybody's always saying that the second Spider-Man movie was the major hiccup. Some are saying the third one was. You know what? Again, you're always going to have something there. But here's the thing. Despite how we feel about a certain director or producer, we know they're always going to make mistakes. They're always going to have some major hiccups while they're working on a franchise, because one thing is they're always going to have other projects they're working on, so they might be a little like, woo kind of deal. But sometimes also that same producer or director will end up doing something that even the die-hard fans would have to agree of those franchises, that the die-hard fans overall would have to agree and say and ask, what the fuck are you thinking? That's right. And case in point, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, wait a minute. Are they being renamed Teenage Mutant Alien Turtles? Are they now Teenage Alien Ninja Turtles? Or, I mean, is it no longer TMNT? Is it now TMANT? Is it TMNTEAT? Is it TMNAT? I mean, is it TAMN? You get the point. I mean, seriously, is it that now? I mean, look, I think Michael Bay, is a good producer. Like I said, he's done some good films. Nightmare on Elm Street, the new Nightmare on Elm Street, according to Zara Nazarak, was good. He did a good job there. Armageddon, he did a good job there. But you don't go out, and even with, like I said, Transformer films, in my opinion, he did a pretty good job. But you don't go out and allow yourself to say, you know what? We're going to change the origins a bit. Instead of these guys being mutated by radioactive ooze or alien ooze, if you will, depending on how you look at it, instead of them being mutated like that, oh, they're going to be from another planet. Are you serious? I mean, seriously. Every variation of Ninja Turtles I've ever seen has been staying true to the mythos, to the origin. You don't do that. I mean, Michael, you stayed true in some ways with the Transformers. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are not going to agree with that, but you did. But yet, you want to come out and say, I'm going to make this, come out and say, look, you people, I mean, basically you want to come out and say, look, we're going to make things, I'm working with one of the creators to make things broader and more richer and more complex for the characters. Give them a more wider origin than what you normally have been seeing. It doesn't matter doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because, I mean, what are you trying to do? Appeal to the fans growing up in this generation? The fans in this generation know about this. They know the origins. Well, I mean, what are you trying to do? You're trying to make a movie so that when kids that are born or around maybe 4 or 5 years old, they probably can't go see it? Now, when they get older and they finally do see it, it'll be a mythos they'll be used to? Are you trying to separate things? Michael, this was only one origin. One origin. Yeah, Turtles Forever. Turtles Forever. I'll give you this. Turtles Forever, I will admit, did explore the fact that there are other dimensions out there. But not one has ever had the Ninja Turtles as aliens. Not one. Not one, Michael, has ever had the Turtles as aliens. Not one has ever said, oh, they're from an alien planet. Not one has ever said that. I mean, what are you doing? Watching the anime from Japan? Where they became super Satans? Or superhuman form? Is that what you're getting your inspiration from? I mean, come on. I mean, yeah. Yeah, and some of the variations, in the 2003 series, as well as I think in the original, I'm not really sure, but in the 2003 series, we have background information that the ooze that the turtles were exposed to was indeed alien. There's no doubt about it. And yes, I will admit, they've explored the option that the mutation in both cartoon series, believe it or not, that the mutation can cause side effects. That later down the road, it can cause side effects and turn the turtles into mindless monsters. I get that. But not once was it ever implied they were ever from another planet. Not once. Again, I understand. Now look, I get you want to broaden the origin. You want to give it a richer, more complex origin. There's an old saying, Michael, and I'm sure anybody on YouTube would agree with this. You don't change the origin. It's an old saying. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This origin story from Ninja Turtles ain't broke. It ain't broke. Alright? It ain't broke. It still works. The same goes if Universal comes up with the Gem story. I mean, this rumor's going around that Gem is going to get a live-action feature by Universal. Do you think that whoever they bring on board, probably not you because you're more of an action kind of guy, but whoever they bring on board is going to say, I'm going to change Jerrica Benton's backstory and do this and that. And oh, by the way, her father's not going to be dead. Her father's going to be alive. And it's only going to be instead her mother's going to be the one that leaves her the earrings and is the one that built Synergy and all that. You think that director's going to do that? No. The reason they haven't really gone full blast yet with the Gem movies is because they want to probably bring in somebody that's going to be faithful to what fans know. It's the same with Inhumanoids, maybe. If they decide, hey, we're going to do an Inhumanoids movie. Even though the show ran for 13 episodes, do you think for one instant, that they're going to say, hey, we're going to do a different variation of Inhumanoids? Do you think for one instant they're going to do that? Do you think for one instant they're going to say, well, we're going to do a live-action remake of The Evil That Lies Within, the miniseries? You get that? And they'll be like, okay, and Sandra. We're going to keep in the part where Sandra gets decomposed. Basically gets affected by decomposed and she gets turned into this giant skeleton zombie. And oh, by the way, instead of trying to save her, they got to end up killing her. Do you think anybody that's an Inhumanoids fan that probably likes the character Sandra is going to appreciate that? No. The thing is, there are some franchises out there that you can make exceptions for. But there are also franchises that you do not fuck with. And Ninja Turtles is one of them. And you know what's funny? A lot of fans of the Sonic fan base right now, if they want to know, those that defend Ian Flynn, in all due respect, Ian Flynn's a good writer, but if you want to know how fans feel about what he's done to certain characters, what he's done in the comic with this current story arc, Google Michael Bay, TMNT, ALEIN, whatever. Google that. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Because these fans, when I read this, the first thing that went through my mind, folks, was, the similarity is endless. Because, yeah, just like You know, you got people that are saying, hey, you don't know what's going to happen in the comic, leave it be, Ian knows what he's doing, and he probably does. But then, on the other side, you got fans that are like saying, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's fucked up the entire concept. He's roboticized this character. He's put this character near death. Blah, 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 blah. He's turning the fucking comic into his own personal web adaptation of his web comic. That just cracks me up, man. It just cracks me up because now you have a similar situation here. You got fans defending Michael Bay saying, hey, Michael knows what he's doing, you don't know what he's got planned, let it be. And you got a majority of fans that are saying, no, he doesn't. He's fucking things up. So if anybody wants to know why longtime Sonic fans don't like what Ian's doing right now to the comic book with Sally, Antoine, and why they believe he's turning it into his adaptation of Other M, look at this. Look at this, and you tell me there's not a similarity. You don't tell me you won't probably come to an understanding and realize how people feel. Because look, I haven't really been that angry with what's going on in the comic. I really haven't. But this ain't Sonic. This is Turtles. I grew up on Turtles. You don't fuck up an origin like this. Transformers, like I said, is an exception. Different variations of how they brought the war to Earth. I get that. But you don't fuck this up. This is one of those origin stories out there on a franchise that you don't fuck up. You don't fuck it up. And as far as the company that now owns the rights to the franchise, who are they effing kidding? Okay? Let's explain something to that company who will remain nameless. We know as well as you do that you see money in Ninja Turtles. You see money in this. And you know eventually you're going to be bringing out the entire 2003 to 2007 or whatever series set, 2009 set. You know you're going to be doing that. You know you're going to be bringing out other stuff as well. I mean, I'm sure it's going through your minds right now that after Lionsgate brings out season 10 of the original series, you're going to re-release the entire series. You're going to give it time for Lionsgate to say, okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. We'll give you a year or so, and then you got to take all those things off the shelves. And oh, by the way, we're going to start selling them now. And I'm sure you're going to do the same with Shout Factory and Saban. You're going to say, hey, look, okay, fine. Ninja Turtles Next Mutation. Okay, whatever. Do that for about a year. Take it off the shelf. We take it over. Okay, that's understandable. But let's listen up. This company knows that you're just pulling on your leg. They're not. I mean, if they are trying to, as Darren Nizarak would put it, hold us for ransom on this, it ain't going to work because they know people are going to be demanding, are going to have supply and demand on their minds. Now, even though I'm pissed off about what's going on here, just like anybody else, I hate to say it, but I'm willing to give him a chance when this comes out officially. I'll go and see it. I know Darren Nizarak will go and see it. I know anybody else that's outraged about this will go and see it, just to see if he does prove us wrong. Just like there's a lot of people right now reading that comic, and they're just reading it or waiting it out to see if Ian Flynn will prove them wrong. But you know what? Overall, there are certain origins that you could tweak a little bit because they're similar no matter how they've been told. But then there are certain origins for franchises that you don't tweak. And this is one of them. So, Leave your comments down below. Respond if you want. Tell me what you guys think. Do you agree with what I've said? And I'll talk to y'all later.